Hey guys, Gentleman 945 here. Welcome back to another video. Um, this is my review of Squid Game Season 3. Uh, Back in December when Season 2 came out, I made a review on that, and I thought it was pretty good, but I said that I hope that they like finish things out in a proper way. And boy, how did they do that? Season three, in my opinion, was an absolute masterpiece. Um, do I still think that seasons two and three should have been like part of the same season for uh, coherent pacing's sake? Yes, I do. I do still think that, although that's not going to matter in the future for people that end up binging the series. Um, I do think it should have been one gigantic season, but like, what are you gonna do about that? That's just the way that like Netflix markets shows nowadays. They did the same exact thing with Cobra Kai. Um, and they're doing it with Stranger Things too. I don't know the dates on it, but like it's pretty spread out. Um, but back to Squid Game. Um, so mm, God, I don't even know where to start. Let me start with the games themselves. The hide and seek might be my favorite game across all of the series. Maybe besides Red Light, Green Light. I think that the way the hide and seek worked, I thought that there was just so much room for constant like betrayal and um different people trying to like manipulate and go after each other, and there was just a lot of like dynamics in there that weren't dead even with the already pretty open rules, which I really liked. But the jump rope as well, that was very very interesting, and the Sky Squid game as well was just super tense, just a masterpiece in like cinematography and raising tension in the scene, as I've lauded Squid Game with praise before because that is by far its strongest aspect. Um, Now something I can't quite remember. I was rewatching my review of season two this morning to kind of remind myself of my thoughts on it, and I don't remember. I didn't bring it up in that video, so I don't think it was in season two, but I honestly don't really remember if the whole plot line with Noel kind of escaping as a guard, like um betraying the system and trying to escape uh with one of the players. I don't remember if that was like a part of season two, but it does take up quite a fair amount of time, and I think that it's very interesting. Similarly to the first season, with the way that Junho like infiltrated the guard, I think it's really, really interesting to get a more behind the scenes look at what the guard do and how their routines work, and kind of exploring them as humans, instead of just these random people that just hide behind masks and administer these games where hundreds of people were murdered for money. um I really liked that plot line, and I thought the kind of like the character relation between her and player 246, I don't remember his name, um was really interesting. Uh in terms of other crazy things that happen with the players, the fact that Junhee had a baby in the middle of the game, and the fact that the baby became not only a player, there's spoilers in this video, by the way, but I mean, I talk about spoilers a lot in all my videos. If you watch a lot of my videos, you should be used to that. Um, and then the baby becomes the fucking winner of all things. I just think that is hilarious. Um, I mean, not like funny in a way because um everything to do with Junhee and her trying to protect her baby is obviously very serious and dramatic. But I just mean like funny in the insane type of way, and just in terms of like how crazy of an idea it is. Um, and also the fact that the baby works incredibly well as this just fantastic plot device for raising tension. Um, uh, and you know, seeing Guhun like his character development in this final season was amazing. Um, First off, seeing the way that he was just kind of straight up despondent was just like incredible. Like it is amazing to me the level of acting that was present, even though he was like the amount that you could get from his character just by him laying there handcuffed to a bed, saying like maybe 5 words an episode or every like within the first 2 to 3 episodes was just insane. Um, and then him becoming just absolutely hell bent on, I hope I remember the name. I hate the guy that didn't bring the ammo back and basically screwed up the whole, uh counterinsurgents attempt, coup d'etat, whatever you want to call it, from the end of season two. Um just the absolute relentlessness in which he hunted him down nearly at the very end of the time in the hide and seek game. And he didn't even kill that annoying fortune teller bitch, but thankfully she got thankfully she ended up getting killed because I did not like her. Um even not even killing her, which would have saved him the game, and he still would have probably gotten a chance to kill Daihe. Um, just the sheer uh, ambition and relentlessness of going after that one dude was just um to put it frankly, it was horrifying and yet amazing because just the amount that you could get once again, like when he was this despondent, almost corpse, the amount that you could get from his character, like this, the acting was so brilliant that like the amount that you could get from the character without him saying barely any dialogue and just moving around looking deranged and hunting him down was just incredible to me. And the final confrontation and conversation they had was just truly absolute cinema. Like, um, the constant back and forth nature of the accusations and the way that it causes Gihun to just break down was it was incredible. And then to kind of see him transition into more of that fatherly role and helping out Junhee was also just amazing because I do think even in spite of how good the other parts were, I think that Gi-hun's most captivating character moments are definitely like when he steps up and takes on that responsible role, and he does this very much in the latter half of the episodes, and I think that every moment that he has, he is just absolutely it's extremely captivating main character in my opinion. I think overall his development and especially his conclusion was so powerful. Everything about him and the way that his character concluded in season three, I thought was amazing. Now of course, um, there is the front man as the main antagonist. And something that I'd completely forgotten from the first season was that the old man was actually like Ilnam, the old like the host of the games before Inho took over. Um I thought that was fantastic. Well, it was fantastic to be reminded of that because I completely forgotten about that from season one. Like, just completely stripped from my mind that plot twist, and now that I remember that, I remember how memorable of a plot twist that was. So that was a nice experience. But like overall, Inho's development was great. Um, because I thought that there was like a really interesting look into when he was an actual player in the game and how he ended up actually killing all the other players to avoid the final game, which Gihun could not bring himself to do. I thought that contrast was amazing, and especially like that transition between Gihun holding the knife and then you see Inho actually killing the people. That has got to be one of the best scene transitions in the entire show. Period. Um, I can't explain how like edge of my seat I felt during that like one moment. Um and seeing that bit of backstory and the fact that he wanted to offer him a way out, I thought that was really interesting because not only does it show um the fact that um playing in the game had changed Inho's opinion of Gihun as a character completely, but also um also you really see the way that Gihun deeply affect like even more you see how Gihun deeply affected Inho as a character, and I thought that that was extremely powerful because his character seems completely different in a lot of internal ways. And seeing that little bit of backstory was just the perfect amount to me. And I thought that overall his character was expanded upon even more so than in season two with him being a part of the games. I think you could really see the kind of after effects of that in the scenes between them in the final season here, and I really liked that. In terms of the whole Junho and the trying to find the island bit, um I really like the way that and no rules plot lines. I really like the way that those end up intersecting at the end. It felt like the very natural course for the plot to take, um and as a result, it was very satisfying when that did end up happening. Um, I do really still feel like those events should have been combined into one season because it would have fixed the pacing issues of season two, in my opinion. Although, like I said, it's not going to make a difference for people that will binge this show in the future. So I'm going to be like an old man yelling at clouds with that kind of complaint about season two at this point. But, um, I thought that the stuff with um I think the good parts of that from season two were carried over to the final season here. So pretty consistent there. No um, highlights or detriments to speak of. That was consistently good, I think. Just not plagued by pacing issues. So um yeah, I think that about sums up my thoughts for the most part. There were a lot of character deaths. The entirety of like the final episode with like well I guess season episodes 5 and 6 with the way that that game worked and how they all had to end up killing each other was just amazing. Like that was just incredible the way that all played out, and there were several points in which I definitely did not predict what was going to happen, and it was very surprising and it was much better than my prediction would have been. um Uh, um, oh yeah. Um, Guhun Ja, I think was the name of the old lady. Her killing her son. Wow, that was emotional. Holy moly. And that being in like the same episode as Hyunju's death. That whole episode was just so emotion packed, and that's why I said the hide and seek game was my favorite. Um, Rip Hyunju, he was definitely one of my favorite character. Oh my god, Hyunju is a she. Uh, rip me for making that mistake. Rip Hyunju, he was probably one of my favorite characters across the whole series. Um, And yeah, that's my review of Squid Game season three. I don't really know what the comic consensus is, but me personally, I thought it was an absolute masterpiece. Um, and I think that it kind of perfectly ends off the whole of the show. Um, although I am extremely excited by the cameo of Kate Blanchett, who somehow I didn't recognize at the end of the episode, and I had to look it up after I really felt like a major dumbass for having to do that. But I am very, very intrigued and excited about a spin off idea of this, but taking place in America. Uh, so I love that that was teased. I'm very excited for that idea. Um, but yeah, overall, I think Squid Game as a show with this conclusion, and especially with how I think about it as a binging experience between seasons two and three, like with the binging experience, every issue that I have with season two will be fixed instantly. Um, so I think that like season three overall definitely raised this show a lot in my personal like TV show ranking. I have no idea really where it would go, and that's probably an updated list I need to make at some point, to be honest. But the how good of a conclusion season three was in my mind definitely bumped Squid Game up a lot of spots. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.